Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. This is Essence of Life. Today, we're talking about how we see the world. I'm Amanda Armagost.
I'm Melissa Haber.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence. So, what are you doing today?
We are doing another philosophical topic, and you chose this one. Do you want to say it out loud?
What makes something beautiful? And practically, what is beauty?
Okay, well, here we go. Starting off with the typical saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Meaning,
Always is.
is
So
there
what's
a
good for
definition of beauty?
It's not good for human, and vice versa. Probably chimp says, "Who are these hairless, ugly being walking outside of my cage?" So,
Probably.
Great answer.
No, they're probably like, who are these terrorists who lock me in a cage and then come and bring their children to point at me?
and then look at how little hair they have.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, or that they?
I guess I almost struggle to grasp the concept that animals can have full thoughts such as that I know, hear me out. I just don't have that. Like, I'm not saying they don't have the thought process, but the emotions connected between it to understand that they are the ones being caged and they are the ones being, quote, controlled and kept.
I think they know that they're being caged.
to certain level they do.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
There is a actually this test has been done before. You're talking about if an animal understand that they're distinctly different than the others. Do they have self-awareness? Like an ant can walk on mirror all day long, but nothing happens. Snake can look at the mirror all day long, nothing happens. Some other animal, when they see in the mirror, they see an enemy, another animal, and never recognize it's them. But chimps, gorillas, and so on, when they look in the mirror, eventually they understand that's them.
Sure.
Same with chickens.
Well, I don't know about
No,
chickens.
I do know because I read that study.
Yeah, and there's actually a test as well that they put a dot on the forehead of the animal, and then they see if the animal check it on their own head if that dot is, if they recognize that's me. So I think that is a good test to understand if an animal has awareness about themselves, and at that level, I think they're aware of what's happening to them, and then as well, then they make a more human-like distinction about what's beauty is for them or not. Like we know, the attraction. No, we have to go way back. What's good for us, what's keep our life going, is a biological, a chemistry. We say to you, somebody and I, we have a chemistry. It is literally true. It's a chemistry. Like to cell, there is even that the sexual the propagation of one cell organism, that they exchange genetic material. When the chemistry is good, they come together, they exchange genetic material, then that makes them both stronger and their offspring stronger. And this goes on and on and on, all the way to animals like literally squares, Eichhörnchen in German. They they understand that some other squares are more desirable than the others. And on the molecular level, that means that their offspring are going to be stronger than some other offspring with some other animal and so on. And now we continued all the way to human, which at the end is in my opinion, is a quantitative kind of, that the other animal have awareness, they have sense of beauty, but for us is just more solidified, that the things that are good for us we accept them as beauty, things that are not good for us we see them as ugly or undesirable.
Absolutely. I mean, I would agree based off of that sentence alone. Now, I take, for example, I'm in a relationship. We're happy, things are healthy. I think they're the most attractive person in the world. I find them beautiful. Say they do something undesirable, you break up, they're no longer in your life. Suddenly you look at them like, what the heck was I thinking?
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, they're not even attractive. Like I was blind.
You're embarrassed. You're
But
like,
it-
what?
you know, and you think back, it's kind of that same thing, you know, when they were in your corner, the
Mhm.
symbiotic type relationship, you see them as beautiful, you want to see
Mhm.
them. And then the opposite and vice versa. I think it's crazy.
It is chemistry,
Mhm.
truly chemistry. I'm going to tell you few studies that are extremely powerful. Let's start with a study that, and the beauty goes beyond our visual beauty, right?
Okay.
You know, if you broaden it, like smell can be beauty, food can be desirable, delicious versus
Mhm.
not delicious.
Mhm.
A sound can be desirable, beautiful versus just
Even a
screeching.
touch.
Even a touch.
Sometimes when I'm in yoga and I get into a specific pose,
Mhm.
in my head I'll literally be thinking like, this is delicious. Like this is a beautiful feeling that I'm having. And I'm not the
Yes.
only one either.
No,
Like,
no. This is all truth into that. See, this is again, our body has needs, our biology has needs. Things that helps that biology is considered as positive attributes that we call it delicious, beautiful, harmonic, and so on, and things that harms it, we call it as just the opposite.
Mhm.
So this is all on the biological level true. Those poses that release the pressure, relax you, make your and relaxed muscle can recover better, and so on. Good food is help you to have a nourishment and have a better biology, and so on and so forth. And bad food is just the opposite. But
I can think of a lot of delicious, awful foods.
no, but that is. I will come
Then
back
that's
to
when
that.
we start chemically modifying things, adding sugars.
There's a book called Dorito Effect.
Yeah.
Okay, we will come back to that. Let's talk about nature.
Yeah.
In the nature, what your body desires is good for you. What your body it goes away, like if you go, there are smells that makes you vomit, right? Like if you see somebody else vomit, you vomit, right? What? Vomit?
It's
What?
just giving me the arc.
Stop saying that.
But you know why? 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 If you see somebody vomit, you will vomit again as well. Did I say it wrong? Why?
Yeah, like how
Vomit?
Vomit.
Vomit?
Yeah.
Vomit?
Yeah.
It's just Alyssa and I have this inside joke where we say, "Do you ever get the arc to vomit?" It's because of you.
Okay. Well, thank you for putting this on video again for
no,
me.
so seriously, vomit. Why?
Throw up.
Well, why when you see somebody throw up, the sight of it and the smell of it make you
Sound too.
sound as well? Why?
Well, because if someone else near you is throwing up, maybe they ate something that's bad, or there's something bad in the water that's making them throw up.
And long time ago, the whole community ate together.
Exactly. So then it makes you feel like, oh, I should probably throw up too.
No, it's not. You don't think it automatically happens. If you see people around you are vomiting, your body says, "What you ate, it's the same thing what they ate. It's going to kill you. Get rid of it."
Yeah.
You see that there? But
Because I'm
it's a-
thinking about when I was on the airplane and I threw up on the airplane. Part of
which one?
I did that once.
So that one time.
Part of it also was because the people around me were throwing up. And
Oh.
I was hearing them throwing up.
Okay, but
That's
you see,
miserable.
both sides, repulsion and attraction, and which is beauty is part of it, is woven into our biology.
Mhm. Now,
Beauty.
I like for another example.
Hmm.
I take this very often on if I were to picture the most beautiful destination vacation for me,
Hmm.
I would not have the same environment picture as my mother.
Mm-mm.
Just being like for example, I love beaches. I love water. I love
Water.
relaxing.
Relaxing.
My mom likes she likes that too, of course, but she's more about I like to go hike. I like the trees. I
Hike,
like the
trees.
fresh air.
Fresh
you
air.
know?
Good. Keep going because this is all great.
Rocks, land, sky.
Rocks, land, sky. No, absolutely.
Adventure.
Adventure.
Me, I like my feet in the sand.
Seeing
Feet in the
sights,
sand.
Learning.
Right.
Okay.
Involving yourself with other cultures.
So, all of us, we have been in a park.
Right.
Okay? why do all the parks in the entire world look the same? There's open space in a park, there are trees, there are some running or not too big, but some water there, ponds and so on, and there are some animals there, but there are lots of open spaces in the
Open skies.
Why?
Too.
They built a park to be pleasing, beautiful to us human. And that's why we build them that way. You just described not only every park in the world, but you described where humanity flourished in Serengeti in Tanzania, where the humanity is coming from. Trees, but not too many, so the tiger cannot hide and get you. Open spaces that you can see far. If the danger is coming, you see that. Water, because we need water. Lots of animals, because we would eat them. We need them to eat them. Sand, which correspond to body of water. And green, we all love green, okay? And you described the situation where the early human is felt relaxed, comfortable, and safe. And that is...
Which you just described how I feel at home. When you say home, safe, in that same environment. That was their home.
That was their home. They used to live there.
Taking us out and putting us in our natural environment, home, should make you feel those things.
And that is what the beauty it comes to be. What's at the end of the day make you put you in a positive place. Now, this is just general, but there is obviously many times when we talk about the beauty and beautiful, we talk about people that continues the same direction. So, what do we find in a person beautiful? Certainly, the chemistry, is attractiveness, and so on, has a huge point. And literally, when women have their ovulation, they have different criteria for beauty,
actually, even
or handsomeness.
when
of
a
man.
woman is ovulating, she actually looks different.
Not only
your-
she looks
your
different,
whole-
but her...
No, but have you seen those?
Pheromones
Have you
and
seen those?
whatnot.
Like your
Mhm.
first day of your period versus your 15th day versus your 30th day, you will look different in every photo because of like where you're
face
carrying-
filling out
Yeah.
and stuff.
Stuff
I could
like that.
imagine. That makes
No,
sense.
but these are again in our biology that depending on what practically is for that specific situation good for us, the meaning of beauty changes for us. But there are some general rules. Our biology lives of symmetry, meaning there are like hundreds of millions of interaction in your body from the moment you're conceived to the time you're a human, and you are a child and you grow up and so on to make you who you are. This combination of all the things that happen has to happen in harmony. And if your DNA, if everything's harmonial, and it's in synchrony, your two sides of the body looks the same. So one of the huge practically sign of beauty for human is the harmony, meaning that take a picture of a person. None of us are really that symmetric. Like they took a picture of Jennifer Aniston, and they did, first of all, as she is, and then took half of it and then flipped it and make it exactly the same. Both, doesn't matter which side you chose, most of the men took that as more beautiful. So, meaning we are even so far that our biology understand if two sides of a human is the same, this is the best genetic material, and your desire to mix with the best genetic material, that is one thing. But then as well goes, am I compatible to that genetic material? It is unbelievable. So, are you guys familiar with HLA molecules, which is the immune molecules? That, like HLA molecules, it are series of molecules in your immune system, and when you are growing up, it shuffles them and then makes millions of different kind of antibodies, and those different antibodies practically make you immune against disease. So more diverse HLA molecule you have, more strong your immune system going to be. And obviously,
sense.
you want your children have the furthest away HLA molecule to have like, and that there are some other dangers there, but they did a study. They let the 10 men work out, and they took their T-shirt, put it in a jar, closed jar, and then let 10 women go smell them and rate them as how attractive it is, and so on and it's not. And obviously, it's huge different if they are during their period, the whole thing is disgusting. If they are ovulating, the whole thing is delicious, and so on and so forth. But then they rated that. Either way, what they found out, further away your HLA molecule are from each other, more attracted you are even to that smell.
That makes sense.
And it's interesting that if you find the smell attractive, then that face is more attractive to you as well, more beautiful to you.
I completely agree.
They did something very interesting though, and that's amazing. They put a T-shirt or something from a brother or a father as well in the mix. Almost everybody thought that disgusting because the HLA molecule they didn't know even that's their
Yeah.
family member, but that is how deep this biology goes. And again, the idea of beauty that we consider it a visual thing is way more than just a visual beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Like a beautiful picture and so on. It can have sounds, feeling, and so on. A lot more can go that, especially when we come to the sexual beauty, the pheromones. We just start to understand how important they are in what we conceive of beauty or not.
Yeah. Nowadays, actually, a lot of women, instead of wearing perfumes, will wear pheromones. You can
Is that one of those witchcraft stuff?
I would say so.
I guess out of all of this, I'm realizing from a personal. I use the word beautiful a lot. In use of perfect or good, I just say beautiful.
Yeah, same.
Meaning when things are working out the way I want them to. When you say harmonious, yeah, that's beautiful. But then it takes me back to my mom always used to say this. My brother and I fought all the time. She goes, nothing's more beautiful than watching my children get along. Like that was always, nothing's more beautiful than having everyone home for Christmas.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
the picture, or I could be looking as homeless as I wanted to, but it was the idea, it was everything that came with it that she found beautiful. And
that actually goes into my answer to the question is I understand that there's some like inner things, like scientific ways of how things can be beautiful. But for me, the way I would interpret beautiful is it's moving. So if I see two paintings and one is very moving and the other one is just
sure.
a painting of like this room, something that I see all the time, it's not moving me, I'm going to think that this one's more beautiful than the one that's more standard. Or when I see like mountains, to me, that's very moving. I think of all the memories attached to the mountain, and I think that's beautiful.
Know dang well that there's people out there that have that simplistic look. They see a blank canvas with one line on it and go, gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. I feel the beauty. And you look at it and you go, okay, but look at that beautiful portrait of the mountains. And
memories, you just mentioned that connect you to your memories. Positive memories, things that connect you to your positive memories are considered beautiful. Things that are connecting you to your negative memories are considered less beautiful.
I'm going to hit you with one.
What?
So, funerals per se are not the most great memories. They're supposed to be celebrations and whatnot. For an example, they play songs that then attach to you. Funerals don't give me good memories, but I think they play the most beautiful songs at funerals. So when I hear these songs, I go, oh, that's a beautiful song. It is not correlated to a good memory, but I still have the beauty in the celebration of life or the meaning behind what that was.
I think
deeper
what you are
talking level.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about, that is the moment that the whole family comes together and give each other. See the bad situation, right? It's But by family coming together, that is what the funerals are about. That in a hard time, family comes together, they give each other support. That part is beautiful. That part that the family support each other in that difficult situation is that what reinforce your idea of comfort. So you're
I
not
don't
happy that
attend
somebody died.
funerals for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do not care if it's family related or not. I
you won't go?
won't say I won't go, but I haven't been
Mhm.
in 20 plus years probably to family. I don't do
How
them.
old are you? If you're 20
Yeah, exactly.
Just barely plus. The plus is very small.
You don't need to know how old I am.
I know. I have access to your personnel files.
You
so
wouldn't
I
even
know.
know.
Do you think that beauty is always, or can beauty be, like, is it always in the eye of the beholder, or can it be kind of objective?
Well, it's a statistic. Statistically, we know symmetry is beautiful. It's almost it make me sad, but in all cultures, whiter or the lighter colors are considered
Not every
beautiful.
culture.
No, in all
No,
cultures.
not every
No,
culture.
but let me tell you why. There is a reason, biologic reason behind that. So, like even in the countries like in the Central Africa where they are the darkest people on planet, they consider the lighter version because there's always graduation as more attractive, and the reason for that is that and that was a study. I'm not making it
I'm
up.
talking about a study too that I've learned in
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
Okay, well, you tell about your study, but here is because if you have lighter color, skin disease and some practically metabolic disease, they show up so much faster. If you have darker color, you can actually it doesn't show easier, and that sort of says, okay, you have a liver problem, you cannot have you have a genetic problem, lots of those things, and that is the study that I read, and it's almost it makes me sad. But even like in Chinese culture, in African culture, and so on, they're considered their lighter version better. Now, having said that, all cultures they have an affinity to their own culture. So xenophobia or this being fearing other people from other culture has been all along. We have to recognize the nature of humanity if we want to overcome our own racism. Okay, we have to recognize that. Now, everything I told you about, it is within your culture, within your uh, immediate existence where you grew up. Like people in Germany are attracted more to people in Germany than people in China. People in China are attracted generally to more people to China than people in Germany, and vice versa. But once you look at their own culture, the lighter skin color are preferred because you can less hide genetic disease. So
Well, and
what did you
it
learn?
was also other reasons too. The lighter skins were doing less manual labor outside,
Had more money.
had more money.
Why
but-
is that? Why would they have less manual labor and
Because when you're working outside in the fields, you're under the sun,
oh, I see.
so your
Tanning.
skin will be tanner. So
Some people don't get tanned.
so the lighter
Could
pastier
get pink.
people, yeah, but you get tanned under that. But the lighter pastier people and the larger people
Larger, yep.
mhm,
You need
were
that.
more beautiful at that
Desirable.
time. Yeah.
For a
Because-
long time, yeah,
Yeah.
being a large, voluptuous woman was the ideal of beauty. When did it turn that skinny is more beautiful? Do
Well,
you know
it
that?
changes
When?
about every 10 years. Like, it's very cyclical. It still is changing.
To my best knowledge, within the last 100 years, it turned around. Actually, in the last 70 or 50 years, is that being skinny is sign of beauty. Because before that, if you're skinny, you cannot produce children for my future. I'm not going to mix my genetic material with you. Being skinny, just in the last this was actually this is one of those things that our TV culture, our advertisement
Yeah.
culture pushed through, and now the idea of beauty is tall, skinny, almost starving kind of things.
It's very cyclical. So it pretty much every 10 years cycles. I wouldn't say right now it's very tall and skinny. it actually, I would say that was more in the 90s. So maybe that's what you're thinking about.
Mhm.
But it very cycles. Like you can think 2016.
I would agree. I would
Mhm.
agree the desire. I mean, I don't really aim for body types per se. I aim for confidence.
Mhm.
But when you look and you watch these people, I'm just going to put it out there, the Kardashians, for example, we have seen a lot of different body types, a lot of different manipulations based over the years. And when you sit down and you look at the evolution based off of the trends, it's actually crazy. You know, they've had work done to make things bigger, and they've had them reduced
Mhm.
based
Very
off
recently.
of the trends. And it's
Or sometimes they set the trends.
right. Now,
Yeah,
here's an
do.
example that I want to talk about because I've been seeing it a lot. Have you heard of a BBL? Do you
No.
know what a Brazilian butt lift is?
We've talked about
Oh
BBLs.
yeah,
Okay.
Brazilian. So where you take fat from your
Mhm.
belly, put it in your butt.
Correct.
Okay.
You know,
No.
that's I feel like the trend's still there, but it was very heavy. It's not still. Now
Yeah.
there's been a lot of word going around on how big butts were huge. I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Mhm.
And now there's that thing of petite, and then
Yeah.
they go,
Yeah.
all these people went and got these BBLs because it was the desirable shape. And now look, the desirable shape, as Amanda said, 10 years from now is not going to be that big old chunky badonky.
And also,
And now what do you do?
also it's not, I think we're really focusing a lot when we're thinking about body shape on the US because that's also very cultural based too. If you look at specific tribes in Africa, they're not really into the very skinny girls. They want someone who's thick, who can
You can
carry
bear
children.
them children. Yeah.
It's,
Who can go work in the field.
yeah, so it is very
Put
much,
some of those skinny people in the field. See how they do.
and maybe they're skinny because their family doesn't have enough money to feed them. They're malnourished as a child,
Mhm.
things like that. So I would say it is very subjective.
And it's
It's
and
crazy
another
how that
yeah.
changes so
Mhm.
to me fast,
Yeah.
but yet it's been decades, years, centuries in the making.
Did you guys know that there are more variation in human genome in Africa, like 1,000 times more than in the entire rest of the world? Like two tribes in Africa, they are more separated from each other than the Chinese and European.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
I didn't.
I didn't.
And that has been extremely surprising after we have done these DNA things and
Sure.
tests
Oh,
and
yeah.
so on. What does that mean? That this is the cradle of humanity,
Yeah.
and it has been all those variations. Few got out and then spread, and then just within the last 10, 20,000 years, then we have all these different variations. So
I think you just said this, but I want to clarify. Like, so are you saying that, or is the theory that there's a lot of genomes in Africa, but only few people can spread out, and then those few people
a
have
few
spread
people
out.
did.
Yeah, no, few people did, and then those genomes are in those areas, but there's still a lot of people that weren't spread out, so
Yeah.
they're more concentrated.
There is more variation. So you go like 100 miles away in Africa, there is more variation between the folks here and in 100 miles than there is variation between the people in Siberia and Europe.
Mm.
Okay? So what that means is, that number one, that means the color is bullshit. It's nonsense. The color of the skin is not what really separates you from other humanity. But there is a genetic variability, but the rest of the world is it has a fraction of a variability than Africa, because that is where the humanity is coming from. That is where all this variation existed, and some of them by chance or whatever got out, and most of them didn't. That's why they have more variation there than anywhere else. But coming back to that, yes, it's true that based on your genetic predisposition, you consider other things that are good for your offspring, and you don't decide that.
Yeah.
You don't look at the picture and say, I'm going to like it or I'm going to dislike it. You look at it, you automatically like it or dislike it.
So what do you think about people that, like, for instance, a girl who ends up going for the worst guy every time? So she knows like drug dealers are bad for her, but she's still going for thugs and drug dealers.
So that is actually, no, that's not one girl. No,
No, it's a lot.
Okay.
Oh God, no, it's not.
Why? Okay. So, if woman could, this is as well a study. If woman could choose, they would have a child with a aggressive drug dealer killer, and then use a more feminine man to nourish that child. So, men, based on their testosterone level, they have more or less aggression. This is well known
Oh, I
fact.
see.
The
Mhm.
jawline, the pheromone, and so on. Women, when they're ovulating, they always want to have their offspring with that man,
Higher
that
testosterone.
high testosterone, which is more aggressive, drug dealer, lawbreaker, and
Is
so on.
it like a
But then-
protection thing?
No, that makes actually have your offspring having literally more muscle. More muscle in nature means they can survive. That's what it is.
Top of the food
But then
chain.
the problem with those high testosterone is after they give you a child, they move on to give another person a child. They don't stay around to nourish them. So where is the balance? That is your biology chooses that balance for you. Nobody want to stick around with a man that is more feminine than a woman. At least, I mean, most of the women prefer a man that has manly attributes. But nobody wants to be with that person who killed 5 people because he's so manly and he's just got after 15 years out of jail or prison. See, where is the balance there? But to have an offspring, you want your offspring have more muscle, be stronger, and testosterone. God damn it, it is it. It gives your offspring. Like my son, Ali, was in Cambridge. In 1 year, he built as much muscle that other kids had to be there in 4 or 5 years. So in 1 year training, he got as much muscle than other kids there. So he was in the rowing competition. And that's a big deal. That's a high Olympic level because that gives robustness and you build faster muscle. You have anabolic. Then there's downside of that too. You put easier weight and so it's not all positive. But that automatically for women, it gives you stronger, more robust children. You desire that. But in nature, generally, humans are different in a sense that you build pairs, that pair nourish the child because it takes goddamn long for that child to be independent.
Mhm.
Okay, now
Yeah.
where is that sweet spot? Somebody who gives you strong children but still stick around and help you to bring that child to a age. All of that happens in a fraction of a second. You adjust based on your biology, based on your experience in the past, and so on. You say, okay, that is too much. That's not. That's. But if you just go animalistic, I would dare to say there is a girls like bad boys.
Mhm.
That is where it's coming from. It is in your nature to want the bad boy to give the genes to the child, even though I mean, then you think about it, but then I'm all alone. It's not maybe worth it. Then you adjust it down. That comes from girls once are attracted to bad boys. Well, it is
Bad
true.
boys.
You heard it?
Bad boys.
You heard it
What
here
you gonna
first.
do?
Bad boy.
Yeah, ends on the song. Bad boys,
Bad
bad
boys.
boys.
Should we
What
just
you
do like a
gonna
little
do?
karaoke session and end it?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, guys, beauty is something.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm happy that there is beauty. That is
Oh.
one thing, It may come out to bite us sometimes trying to find the beauty. You're always searching for beauty. Beauty is what we describe as a harmony. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
not searching for it, it's finding you. It's becoming one with
Mhm.
your nature, your home, your origins.
To me, beauty is still being moved. Like, I heard this thing recently. I told Dr. Abbasi the other day. Someone, someone was
I
like,
forgot.
no, you didn't. Someone was asking,
How do
what
you
is
know?
love? Because you liked it.
Oh.
Someone is asking, what is love? So they asked a bunch of children, what is love?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the children said, love is when I forget my dog outside all day. And when I get home, she still gives me kisses.
Oh.
And I think that beauty can be very similar, even if you're surrounded by destruction.
Put your
Isn't it the it did make me cry.
put your wife outside all day. Come back, see how much she loves you.
As long as you think she's beautiful.
Tell her beautiful and you're good.
Put it outside. She's at the door.
Yeah, we'll see how well that works.
But I think beauty can be the smallest thing. Like you can find
Oh, yeah.
beauty in people helping each other. You can find beauty in community, humanity, things like that.
But it all comes back. It's good for us
Yeah.
as general.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
we don't have to get into the like chemically modified things like why we find a piece of chocolate cake
Oh, man.
so much more
No.
beautiful than a piece of broccoli.
No. Actually, I think we should talk about that because once you identify what our nature is, what the nature of beauty or delicious and so on is, you can manipulate people.
Oh yeah, you can like you mentioned it in our podcast earlier, a piece of chips. It's very manipulated. A chip is 50% grease, 50% potato. They make it that thin so that you have this addiction of wanting more and more.
And that is all comes from understanding truly what generally nature is good for our body. Like salt in nature is a rare thing, believe it or not. Okay, in nature, having salt, you want to eat it. So, but now it is so easy to get it.
Mhm.
So it's not really hard and so on. But our nature hasn't come around yet. Or grease, like when animal eat another animal, they eat the fat 1st.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, in some places where you don't get enough fat, there's a disease. You develop a disease. Or sugar. It's extremely important. Now you get all those, or even smell of smoked material. Smoke meaning that the meat is better. You are going to get for gram by gram, pound by pound. You are going to get more nourishment. You like that smoky thing and so on. Now, it's not nature anymore. It is just a piece of poison. You can put stuff on a poison that it tastes beautiful to you because now we understand how we can combine that. That's a huge kind of chemistry and technology goes around that. You can make a combination of anything that tastes like anything. You can fool your sense of beauty by masking those sensors that your body is looking for.
So does our body ever mask the sensors on its own? Because I'm just thinking like I'm obviously European descent. So
then you say so?
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And so I still do love going out in the sun.
And get pink?
And I think the sun is beautiful. I feel like the sun on my skin is beautiful. But then an hour later, my skin is like totally arguing with me because I'll be completely sunburned.
Yeah.
So is that like, is my body tricking me or something?
No. Your body, okay. There is a reason, like white people are white.
We have less melanin.
You have less melanin because when we moved out of Africa, and that happens within 1,500 years. I mean, so fast in the human evolution, that's like negligible. So you imagine when we moved out, we barely has clothes on.
Mhm.
And you move north and north, and you get less and less sun. If you have the same amount of melatonin and you absorb the sun before it gets to deeper layers, you don't build vitamin D, your pelvis becomes smaller, you die in childbirth, so you die out. But those that have less and less melatonin, that they get absorb more sun, build more vitamin D, have wider pelvis, so their genetic goes on and on. If you keep people, moving them to different location within 1,500 years, this is nothing. The white people become dark and dark people become white. If you don't close yourself, like if you look at the color of any country and you measure UV rate in that place, it doesn't matter north or south. It actually sometimes when you go up in the mountain,
Like Alaska.
like Nepal, it is pretty north. But because it's elevated, they get a lot of UV. So they are as dark as people in Africa who have the same level of UV light. This complies everywhere except Americas. Why? Because by the time 40,000 years ago, when they came to Americas, the big continent, they already covered themselves with clothing. So
Indoors.
that, well, not only indoors. No, they cut clothing enough that it wouldn't be that translated like in the rest of the world. The amount of the UV that you have determines how much melatonin, how dark you will be. In the Americas, that is less. They are not, and with the same amount of UV, they are not as dark as they would be in Africa, because now they close themselves. They don't absorb the entire thing, and so on. So it changed. It just changed, but it's still valid. So what we were talking about is that you like to go under the sun because your European
It feels
descent. European descent says if you don't do that, you don't get enough vitamin D, you may die. Now, how much is too much, and so on? It's always a. I mean, it is better to have vitamin D and not die than have maybe sunburn, and then you learn how much is too much for you personally.
Until you don't learn, and then you end up getting skin cancer.
Well, that is that problem with the cancer is always comes, or 99% of the time comes after you already have had children. Evolution doesn't care about you anymore. Sorry. After at that point, have cancer.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Sorry,
Go
you
have
had
fun.
children. They have cancer. I don't care anymore because your genetic material already moved on.
I think that this was actually essence of science. What is beauty? What
It
do you
was
think?
it was essence of a lot.
Essence of essence.
Essence of essence.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to call it Essence of Science.
That sounds good to me.
This was Essence of Science. Today we talked about what is beauty. I'm Amanda Armagoss.
I'm Melissa Haber.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence.
Thank you.